Hi everybody, I'm Dale Fredericks. I'd like to welcome you back to our series on starting the 2-year-old. Now, we've gotten a little bit behind on this series. Well, no, we've gotten a lot behind on this series. So we're going to try and play catch up here. Today I'm going to be talking about sacking a horse out, or desensitizing him as it's usually called now. And to do this, you can use a horseman's flag. I just take my lunge whip and I've got masking tape around it in several places just to keep it kind of all in one piece. I use masking tape because if the horse were to kick through it, it's not going to be very strong and the tape will break free. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my handkerchief. I'm just going to tie an overhand. Well, I might get him, if he's a little bit spooky, I'll probably try and get him used to it first before I put it on my flag. Or before I put it on my lunge whip. You can see he's not too bothered with it by his face. So I'm going to go ahead and tie it on here. I just tie a little overhand knot. And when you do this, at first you want to be standing with a pretty short hold on your lead rope so they can't wheel around and kick you, because there's no telling what they're going to do at first. And I don't want to be in front of them either, so I'm kind of off the shoulder and in front of it. This way I can control him if he does get erratic, and whatever you do, don't let him run over you. You know, back him off. He should have enough respect for the halter by now that I can get him stopped and back him off of me. So I'm going to start with this right around his shoulder area. And I'm just going to be gentle with it. You can see he's kind of eyeing it. Just going to try and touch him everywhere with it. And probably at first, if he's kind of bronky yet, he might pick up their front feet. Try to avoid it. Just going to go slow. Get all over his head. Just to let him know it's not going to hurt him. And when you get to these hind legs, just be careful. They might kick. This colt kick quite a bit at first. And don't expect to get it all out of them in one day either. You can just work at it several days until you finally get them where they accept it. One thing too, at first, just stay on this side of it. Of the horse. Don't get your whatever you've got tied onto your lunge whip. Don't get it on this other side, because he might see it with his right eye and get scared and run right over top of me. Okay, so at first just keep it here. And then as I can see that he's getting used to it, I can get a little more careless with it. You know, I can just flop it around a little bit. Just gradually get more careless and make my motions a little bit stronger. Okay? And you can tie different things on here. You can tie an old cloth of some kind, a bigger one, different colors. And then finally we'll work up to the number one predator of horses, the dreaded plastic bag. What I've got here is just a regular garbage bag. And again, I'm not being real careful because he's already seen this, but for the first time you want to be, really be on your toes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push a hole through the bottom of it with my fingers. And I'm going to slip the end of my lunging whip through that hole. Then I'm going to take the plastic bag, come back through this loop on top here. Okay. And I'm just going to repeat what I just did with my handkerchief. Started up here by his shoulder. And a lot of horses are going to react to this. Like I said, it seems to be the number one predator of horses. I guess it's descended from a saber-toothed tiger or something. And again, I'm going to keep it on this side until I'm sure that he's calm enough with it, and then I can go to the opposite side. Okay? Just let him know that it's not going to be anything that's going to hurt him. I'll get up here under his belly, and be careful you don't want to get rough up there in these sensitive spots. And I'll just gradually start getting a little more lively with it. I talk to him a lot too, just to reassure him that everything's all right. You know, and you can just get as crazy as you want over time. We can start moving him a little bit. Get him used to this while he's moving. Because sometimes a horse will react differently when they're moving. So, all right, if he starts to get excited, I'm going to just slow him down a little bit. See, he's a little bit worried right now. Just keep doing that kind of stuff until they're, over a period of days, they just get used to it. It doesn't bother them. And if they're real scared, at first you can put it out in front of you. So a lot of times a horse won't, if they're behind the movement, they think they're chasing it. Whereas if it's coming at them, they think they're being chased. You can kind of get them used to it that way. And of course, we want to do it on both sides. Just repeat the same process on the other side. There you can see he's starting to calm down a little bit now. Not that he was real excited, but he was kind of wary. All right, good. So once we got them where they're accepting that, I'm going to go ahead and start getting them used to saddle pads. And by the way, I think it's good to use different colors of plastic bags too, different colors of everything. So once we got them pretty used to the bag on the end of the lunge whip, we're going to start getting him used to having a saddle pad on his back. And the reason we do that first is because we got that bag or whatever we have tied onto it at the end of the lunge whip. We're not going to get kicked when we're on the end of that lunge whip. So we're trying to get rid of any kicking that he might have in him. And then we can start working a little bit closer. And again, I'll start out with letting him check it out. Maybe rub it on his neck. And you want to be kind of careful at first. Get him used to being on his back. And once they act like they're going to accept it, you can start flopping it around a little bit. Again, be careful not to hurt them with it. That's why I'm starting off with this nice soft little blanket. And two, be sure you have a short enough hold that you can stop them if they get excited. Okay, once I got them where I can put it most anywhere I want without him being too bothered, I'm going to go ahead and put it up here, let it fall down. And again, they might react, they might jump away from it, so just be ready for that. But we want to do this just in case you might be saddling someday or putting a blanket on them and the wind blows the blanket off, and we don't want them to freak out if that happens. Okay. Now I'm going to go to a little more substantial pad here. And I'll let him check it out. And we'll just do this. Just get him used to it flopping around on him. We don't want him to be afraid of it touching him anywhere. And I'm going to let this fall off now, but see, he's looking the other way, so I'm going to get his attention first before I let it fall on this side. And again, we're going to do all this stuff on the opposite side as well. Just get him used to it moving around on this side. We'll let it fall to the ground again. And just keep working on those things until you get them where nothing like that bothers them. The next time we see you, we'll be talking about getting the colt used to a cinch, to girth pressure, and having something on his back. So until then, God bless you. We'll see you later.